Guys, what is going on? This is Ip of RageQuitTV. Gonna be casting the game between New Star Sage and Liquid Taeja. It is a TVP on Entombed Valley, and both players right now starting the matchup with the 안녕하세요, which is just hello in Korean. And my bad if I butchered that pronunciation. I don't really study all that much how to speak it, just trying to learn how to read it so I can see what they're saying in game and inform you guys, because I know a lot of you do get curious when Koreans start speaking in games, so I try my best to translate it from time to time. It is a PvT on Entombed Valley, a map that's a little bit funny in the mid-game. Both players can easily take out the opponent's third base. Protoss with a lot of gateways. I mean, the Terran has a lot to hold. They have this ramp and this ramp. Take out these rocks. A few force fields can go down here, split the army easily for Protoss to take out this third base. But Terran, they kind of have the same thing. They siege up a few tanks down here. This ramp is no longer safe to walk through. Additionally, you can drop a factory, wall this off. You can do an attack here when Protoss comes to defend it. You can pick up and drop in the main base. There's just a lot of mid-game harassment on this map, so we'll see how the players do play. Taeja most likely will be taking more of a defensive posture because I don't really know him as being an aggressive Terran. Despite him loving bio, Taeja kind of depends on his macro and to win him games. Of course, he has good micro. He is Korean. What Korean doesn't have good micro? But Taeja just has above the normal macro for his bio play. He is going to be getting a gas at 13, which means he is not going to go for a 1-Rax Expo. The common thing is maybe a Reaper expand out of Taeja. That is what I've seen of him. We do have the scout after the gateway, it looks like, from Sage. He is going to be checking Taeja in the last possible position as he does scout counterclockwise while Taeja does spawn clockwise. He is getting a gas right now as well, getting the pylon up, and until he sees exactly what Taeja is doing, I don't think he's going to make a commitment on what he's doing, because Sage, he is a very reactive Protoss player. A few months ago, he was kind of one of the Protoss's last hopes, as people put it. A few months ago, he did all-kill Team Startail, which gave him a lot of publicity. He hasn't really had that many tournament results to my knowledge, but he is a very interesting Protoss to watch just because he is so intelligent and so reactive. He will play safe until he knows exactly what Taeja's doing. Then once he sees what Taeja's doing, he will calculate a build on the spot to deal with it. Taeja now scouting in the wrong direction as well. Marine is going down on this low ground to try to catch this one probe. The probe, though, going to be taking a little bit of a detour, knowing that Taeja may do that, and sneaks around it. And that's what I'm talking about, how smart this guy is. And now this Marine that looked like such a smart move by Taeja, now it's a blunder as the probe will be coming in. We'll see the Marauder coming out. It's not going to be a Reaper expand. It is going up into a Marauder, and such a good scout right now by Sage. You can see Taeja really did not want that spotted as the SCV even went to help, but it looks like he is just going to be expanding behind this. The worker does go down, but he sees the Marauder, sees this tech lab researching. Sage got a lot more information than he should have in that scenario. Now he is going to be building his Nexus after he sees that and feeling relatively safe. So, really nice job scouting by Sage. I can't say how smart this move was because it was just phenomenal, the read of Sage to say, well, your SCV saw my probe, so you may send your SCV, Marine out to catch my probe, so I'm not going to let you do that. Such a good call by Sage. And this one Stalker looking for that SCV possibly. He did go over to the left. After Taeja scouted 2 spots, he did pull back, so the Stalker did not get an SCV kill. But the Stalkers know he is in no danger of being scouted now. But Taeja going a little bit of an odd scout as well. And the Stalkers going on this little high gun on the edge, just barely missed the SCV. But they should be able to take this out without the SCV seeing all that much. He is going to see the Nexus. And if he left the Stalkers right here, that SCV would not have seen it. Just a few seconds too late. And now Taeja, it's his moment of choice. Does he go in for the attack or not? He is just getting 2 barracks and a command center, so I don't think he's going to go on the attack. It would be a little bit silly, as Protoss will have warp gates finishing right about now by the time Taeja got to the base, which allows them to get another line of units out. So this one Stalker is really 2 Stalkers in production, as it will come out, warp gates finish, and they immediately get another unit. So putting on aggression right now would not be smart for Taeja unless these barracks were already complete, which they can't be because he went for a 1-Rax Expo. A little bit of a funky way to approach it, going for the Marauder and Tech Lab, but it's a 1-Rax Expo nonetheless. He is getting a second gas relatively early. Doesn't have a factory out or eBay just yet, so I expect to see both of those going up relatively soon. With all this gas, he can't really use it with just 1 Tech Lab. That's all he's going to have for gas usage. So Taeja, we'll see exactly what he ends up doing. Few Marauders just poking out And around the 7 or 8 minute mark, Taeja may send one unit around and look for any forward pylons. And maybe that's what he's doing right now, just looking for any pylons, because Warp Gates does finish at this time. And this is the time, if Protoss is going to put on pressure, they're going to do it at this time, just because that's the soonest they can do it. And Taeja's infrastructure doesn't really hit yet. So this would be the opportune time for Protoss to attack the Terran. And that's why I saw Taeja just kind of poking out a little bit to see if that is coming. 2 gases right now going down for Sage. That is a little bit early. I suspect to see a double forge out of Sage and go in for a lot of upgrades. Additionally, he could do some type of Colossus play. That Immortal is rallied over here, but that is because of the Observer. That will get changed. Hopefully the Immortal doesn't just go wandering out on his own. And a missile turret is going up by Taeja. He hasn't used a scan, so he has no idea exactly what's going on, has no clue on the gas timing, no real clue on the army composition. Saw 2 Stalkers, or 3 Stalkers I think it was. Not enough to tell anything. Now the missile turret does see the Observer, so Taeja knows you do have a robotics facility up. That's a facility, right? I always get those. Yep. I'm actually starting. After the 2 years or so this game's been out, or however long it's been, I've started to learn the difference between a robo facility and robo bay. How cool is that? But anyways, he knows that is up, so Immortals and Colossus are possible. Taeja right now only with Marines. That Observer sees only those Marines, so Sage may not go for that double forge I said earlier, and may go for something that kills Marines very well. Either Colossus or Templar. He's getting a Twilight Council, so I believe he's going to get Blink and go up to High Templars, because Templars do very well against Marines. And additionally, unlike Colossus, they can deal with drops very well. So, as long as Sage feels he has enough time to get those High Templars out, I think they're going to be a little bit more beneficial. There we go, the Templar Archives not even getting Blink, just getting that straight away. And putting the Guardian Shield up, and now walking on back. The upgrade 0-0-0 for Sage. Taeja at 1-0. Both these players not really upgrading that heavily. Taeja now going to be starting to take his 3rd base. The factory is floating on over. Another Observer is coming. Did that one die? Yes, one Observer has died, it looks like. And the factory wants to land right here in one of the most annoying spots possible. Decides not to. Does change the rally. And this will be the first real scout of Taeja to see absolutely everything that Sage has, at least in his army composition. And seeing these Templars out may tell him enough that there's not going to be Colossus and Templars at the 11-minute mark. So as long as he sees that Templar, which I don't think he did, that was just out of range. And Storm is being researched. This is going to have enough energy. As soon as Storm does finish, Taeja now gearing up to try to kill the 3rd base. Dropping the factory, like I said earlier, was a possibility, but there is no 3rd base. So Taeja just going to be happy right here where he has a big concave, can prevent the 3rd base, but he is vulnerable to a little bit of a counterattack, so he is going to be pulling back just a little bit. But leaves his units right here. This is getting a little dangerous. Storm is really close to being complete. Force fields do go down. Perfect force fields right there. Not leaving any gap in this. Is going to be a lot of storms out of nowhere. Only another 20 seconds till that storm does finish. The fire play is going to kill off one Stalker. Does get the shields off that one Immortal, and Taeja starts have to be really careful as the Templars will be out. Doesn't see any Colossus right now, and that may be a little bit curious to Taeja. I don't think he's actually seen the Templar, but not getting hit with those laser beams right now after seeing how long those Immortals have been out may be enough to say, okay, he's going a different tech route, and doesn't see any upgrades on the Protoss. So this may be enough to tell Taeja there are going to be Templars. No upgrades, no Colossus. There goes the first storm. Taeja now immediately got to pull back, but no, he is going to be engaging, trying to bait the storm. Some beautiful micro on Taeja's Marines, but it's still not enough when there's 20 or so storms, it seems like. That was only for a small exaggeration. But Taeja couldn't dodge enough, and now he does have to pull back. Sage right now with a 15 supply lead, but Taeja's 3rd base is already up while this Nexus is just now starting. And Taeja already has that Ghost Academy. Doesn't have the Mobius Reactor research. As I say that, he is starting it, so he will be getting Ghost relatively soon. Is working on 2-2, so Taeja will have the upgrade advantage. +1 armor now finishing for Sage, so Taeja is ahead, but with Chrono Boost, it is possible that Sage can catch up. And Taeja, again, like I said earlier, not really known for being that aggressive, not doing that many drops. And it would be so good if he did a drop right here, picked off the Temple Archives, or maybe Twilight Council, or just picked off some structure over here in the edge, because right now, if you did a drop right here, it's going to be really hard to deal with that drop just because you got all this clutter getting in the way of getting to it. So Taeja, by dropping right here, could do a lot of damage. Maybe just taking out a gas, which is big. And as I say that, here we go, a big drop by Taeja. Going over in the natural, there's High Templar though. Gonna get those storms up. Medevac's immediately picking up, and Taeja does not want any of that. And maybe that's one of the reasons. If he went here, he could just get stormed. He's in a small area. Now putting a few bio units over here to check for a fourth base. Not going to see it, and trying to take out something. Almost kills a Zealot while it was warping in. And Taeja is forced to pull on back. Going to be healing up his units, which is a little bit good. It does deplete some of that medevac energy so they won't get feedback to death. Does allow him to do another drop if he chooses to do so. Sage right now out of position all the way over to this left side, but Taeja not going to be taking advantage of that. We do have 2 observers out on the map with this pylon. Sage's vision right now is phenomenal. Even has the 1 probe right here. Maybe going to be taking base, but maybe just wants to see any drops that are about to be coming. And Taeja's now got to do, well, there's no High Templar in this mix, so just doing a little bit of kiting will be enough here. Sage has to be pulling back. Oh, no, he's going to keep on going for it. Few force fields do go up, which signals the disengage. Did not get any units trapped. And Taeja going to be pulling back happily to his base. And now he has the advantage with the high ground. But he is on this 1 choke, which could be force field. The observer was dead. Taeja does scan to kill it, and that does save that situation. With 5 ghosts right here, he needs High Templars to engage this. And there are 4 High Templars now in the mix. And against Taeja, you would need a lot of High Templars. Just 4 High Templars is not going to be enough. You'd really need like 8 or 9, just because Taeja's snipe is absolutely amazing. And he will snipe those High Templars so quickly. It is ridiculous. Going to be getting more barracks, and this is key because Terrans, they build the infrastructure much slower than Protoss. It takes a barracks around 140 seconds to produce its first unit, because you got to build the barracks, got to get the add-on, then you got to build the unit. For Protoss, you build the gateway, you warp it in, you build the, gateway, warp it into a warp gate, 75 seconds, boom, units. So Protoss get units a lot quicker than Terrans from start to finish. Additionally, the worker doesn't have to stay around and build the gateway. So, one thing to keep in mind. And the High Templar is just a little bit scattered right now, waiting for the force to come. Has the observer right here so he can see it coming and get his Templars in a position to just lay down a trail of storms that Taeja has to walk through to be on the aggressor. But he is going off on a little bit of an odd tangent over to this one side. And here we go. We do have the Colossus now in the mix to meet Taeja. Cloak just about done for those ghosts. And that 1 Templar did get EMP'd, but more off in the back. A nice storm goes down, but here we go. All the ghosts right here going to start EMPing absolutely everything. A roll goes off to the side. Now more zealots come. Taeja has to pull back. Puts all his ghosts in medevacs. There's not much anti-air left. Just that 1 stalker, and the medevacs are going to get away. Saves a lot of the ghosts. You can see 7 ghosts go in the medevac, and that is a lot of money that Taeja just saved, putting them into those dropships. Save the dropships, which is also really good because now he's got to start producing Vikings, and you can't really produce Vikings and medevacs at the same time because they both come out of the starport, which chances are you're only going to have 1 starport when you see Colossus, so needs to get Vikings. Since he has medevacs already, he doesn't have to make the choice, do I get Vikings or do I get medevacs? And since he saved the ghost, he can just keep producing that bio. And Sage is gearing up to take double expand right now, going all the way over here and up to this one base. This is a little bit of an odd base, showing that he wants to be aggressive, expanding towards the Terran player. Does have more of a siege dummy with those Colossus and Templars. So this will be really hard for Taeja to engage this time. This will be kind of like a safe haven. As you do see, Templars just going to be sitting here with those storms. Ghosts come out and do try to EMP and snipe things. You can see no shields on relatively anything of that Protoss army. But Taeja doesn't have the army to really engage that. All his units injured from that storm. And that is just probably why Sage took this base. It's a really easy base to hold with Templars and Colossus, because how is Taeja going to get here? Especially with the cannons now warping in. I mean, storms around this, Colossus with the little laser beams. It's really hard to attack into this. Taeja, though, is at 3-2, just now finishing 3-3. Sage working on +2 weapons and +3 ground armor right now. Also +2 ships about done, and that is ship weapon. Handful of Vikings here to try to deal with the Colossus, but only 5 Vikings to deal with 4 Colossus. That is not enough. Despite him having that +2 armor, still isn't going to be enough. Can't kill those Colossus fast enough, and Taeja will have to be backing off from this fight. Gonna get a big concave, and there we go. The stem goes down, and getting some beautiful cutting. Storm does go down. Kind of a whip, but that one does hit. Taeja is eating these storms alive, but now more EMPs do come. There's Colossus now falling to the bio. No more buffer at all. The Immortal immediately falls, and these upgrades from Taeja just helping him so much. It is 1-3 versus 3-3 right now of Taeja, and that is making all the difference in the world. Taeja does clean up that army with a 20 supply advantage right now. Does have this base going up, so he will be kind of going on even bases. The Protoss is ahead 1 base right now, but the command center is being built. Taeja does know that. And this base happily chrono boosting away. Looking at Sage's chronos, he is using them, but still has, well, he's using them more than the average Protoss. So we do see most of these nexus relatively depleted on the chrono boost energy. Good job on Sage, using a lot more chronos than I'm used to seeing at this stage of the game. But Taeja has a lot of ghosts, did keep a lot left over from the last battle, up to 9 ghosts. Ghosts have good DPS against Zealots, but most importantly, those EMPs and snipes against the High Templars is what Taeja really needs right now. Scan is going down, sees those cannons morphing in, sees a handful of Templar, also has the factory here, so that's a little bit of an odd scan. Maybe he just wanted to see if there were cannons there in detection. Putting another scan right now, going to be sniping some of those Templar. Really nice job from Taeja. I didn't know you could do that. And we actually have a nuke in production along with, of course, more Vikings. Putting a sensor tower up. Nice job for Taeja. Going to be able to see when Sage ends up trying to attack. And a probe going to be putting a few forward pawns. The command center does see it. And now Taeja does scout this one base way up here. So now he definitely knows that Sage is ahead on bases. We're actually tied because he just got this base up. And this base hasn't really been mining. You can see just using it for gas. Mined around 300 gas from that base. Not really paying itself off just yet. Zealots warping in to their death. Gonna see a planetary fortress morphing. And Taeja kind of pulling off because defending that base allows Sage to go and attack right here into Taeja's infrastructure. And this could be really bad for Taeja. However, he's going to be coming in from behind. Storms being laid down so Taeja cannot get to this force. Very nice job with these Templars right now, preventing Taeja from getting over here, but the Colossus is way off in the back, and now Taeja is going to be coming, attacking from the side. We'll get some good attacks off now, and I don't know if Sage actually killed all that much, staying just outside of that Storm and doing such a good job picking off a lot of those Templars. Taeja is on a tear right now, ahead 25 supply. Very nice job there. Taeja didn't really lose all that much, it looks like. I mean, maybe lost a barracks or two, but overall, I think he's doing just fine. Does do a drop up here to take out this one Nexus in the meantime. Killed the probes, and now this Nexus will be falling. And there are a few cannons right here. Sage building even more cannons just to defend against drop play. And that is a lot of Templar. Holy cow. We do have 6 Archons now morphing in, which means he did warp in 12 Templars. That is absolutely ridiculous. Taeja has a lot of ghosts, so if he gets EMPs off on all those Archons, these are going to be relatively worthless, and this was a lot of money just spent. So Taeja really needs to get EMPs off. That's what this battle is going to come down to, is Taeja's ability to EMP these Archons. And of course, you do have the High Templars that you have to worry about, but mainly it is just the Archons. EMPs going down on majority of those Archons, and they will have to pull back. Taeja could be aggressive right now, but he chooses not to. Throwing the scan, sees everything, and decides not to be aggressive. You do have this one drop, going to be picking off the one gas, lowering the gas income. And the Ghost doing what they can. Still has that one nuke. And it looks like he is going to be using it right now. Pylon's coming down. This looks like it is in range to whoop into this base. I did not know that. This could be really bad for Taeja right now. The drop is going to get cleaned up by those Zealots. We do have the probes pulling away. And the Factor decides to go down with the nuke. A little bit of an odd call from Taeja right there. And now he's got to land those EMPs off again. This is not going to be an easy task for Taeja. But if he does, he will be able to demolish that army. The upgrade's relatively even. Zealots are warping in. Attacking the PF, not the best call. Taeja is building a bunker there to defend against the warpins. And that's an odd place for Sage to build a base. Maybe because if Taeja's right here attacking this base, then he is open to an attack at his main where all his infrastructure is. So maybe that's why the base is right there, just baiting Taeja into attacking. There's even SCVs with this force. EMPs going down before the battle. Two Archons immediately get sniped. A Dark Shrine is on the way for Sage right now. Scan goes down. Templar does get sniped. And we do have a Templar moving out. Will get sniped. Oh, no, there we go. Does get sniped before doing anything. But this Ghost low on energy right now. I don't see any more in Taeja's army that can EMP these Archons, so that could be bad. Going to be picking off another Ghost with those Marauders. And now Taeja probably should be backing off until he gets more Ghosts. And here we go. The battle is going to be commencing. Taeja getting absolutely slaughtered right here without any Ghost for the EMPs. Getting stormed upon, and those Archons dealing massive amounts of damage. Taeja's force just got evaporated. 115 supply to 183. Taeja now trying to rebuild that as quickly as possible. But it looks like Sage may just have too much right now going in this army supply. Taeja only behind by 30. So if he gets perfect EMPs off, there is a chance, but it is a small chance. Doesn't have Vikings to deal with the Colossus. And these Templars still have good energy, but does a good blanket of EMPs. Going to use this high ground to defend. Viking coming out to attack that, but Taeja does end up GGing. So let's take a look at this one battle again. So, does he only have 4 Ghosts? He has 6 Ghosts. So maybe 1 Ghost is missing. So there goes some energy. Now he just EMP'd everything, depleted all his Ghost energy. So what does Sage do? He's going to be backing off. He knows, okay, I cannot engage, but that was a lot of EMPs that Taeja just used. Excuse me. So he backs off, lets his shield regenerate, and guess what? Shields regenerate a little bit faster than energy. So he's going to be just fine. And I think they do. I'm assuming shields regenerate faster than energy. But anyways, assumption by me. I hope it's a safe one. The High Templar going out here, trying to get Storms off. Does have that one Observer. Now the High Templar does get sniped. But we look at the unit count. 5 High Templars to 8 Ghosts. However, these Ghosts, how many Ghosts are in this? There's only 4 Ghosts in Taeja's army. And he has not enough energy to even land a single EMP. So that means these Templar relatively safe. Yes, it will get sniped. It doesn't matter. He's got Colossus and Archons. There are only 7 Vikings that are at +2 attack, so maybe that's enough to kill Colossus relatively quickly. But with the Archons and still a few High Templars, that is going to be really hard to kill. So here we go, another Templar gonna get sniped, and that goes all of Taeja's energy on his Ghost. So right now, what Taeja needs to do is force a disengage, not engage this because he's got 1 Ghost. He's got 5 Ghosts. Where are they? Sitting right here. So he needs to get these Ghosts in his ball because, as we saw, if he engages this force without any EMPs, it is just absolutely devastating, as we will watch yet again. So Taeja with some nice micro, picking off those Templars. Such a good call. And now is the perfect time to retreat. Notice all the energy is full on almost everything. So those EMPs he used earlier, wasted. That was like 200 energy down the drain. And here we go. EMPs all his units. I mean, not EMPs, storms all the units. Taeja ate the full storm right there. Another storm going off on quite a bit. And these Archons just tanking and dealing so much damage. Taeja doesn't have an army. Was that mainly Marines? What was in that composition? Looks like just mainly Marauders. No, 17 Marines. So watch this Marine count, how quickly it will go down once this battle does start. To make it easier, highlight the Marines for you. Actually, that's not that many Marines at all, even to start with. Had a lot back at home, but you can see the Bioforce just drops so quickly. Another storm does go off. And, yeah, that will be it. That kind of shows you can't really just EMP your opponent's army willy-nilly. You gotta have... It's like stim. You can't just stim your entire army just happily, because if your opponent does the right thing, you just wasted a lot of medevac energy. You open yourself up to a counterattack because you can't stim twice in a row. Because once you do that, you took on a lot of damage from stim, like 33% of your unit's life. So like EMPs. Just because you EMP your opponent's whole army, you gotta have some type of backup plan. You either gotta say, okay, I'm gonna be disengaging, or I'm gonna be engaging. Because I just used a lot of my energy, my trump card, if you must say, to deal with the army. And Taeja used his trump card. The Protoss kind of backed off, waited until the trump card's effects wore off, and then engaged. Now Taeja no longer has that card to throw down on the table, and the Protoss is like, well, guess what? I deal AoE, you have no AoE, goodbye. So, hopefully you enjoyed that game. We'll look in SE2 gears a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time because it is MLG Day. Just sneaking in these cast during games, I really don't want to... Well, I want to see the games, but I don't care that much about them. I had to watch Idra, so I'm casting this after the Idra. As you do see, 1:40 p.m. my time. I live on the East Coast. So let's go filter actions to Marine or Marauder or Ghost. So Taeja's macro, pretty good. As you see, relatively no empty spots. So 1044 I do want to look at. See if he's actually not building units, because Taeja's one of those players whose macro is so good. When there's actually a spot where he doesn't build a unit, that generally means something interesting happened. Either he supply capped himself, or a lot of aggression was going down. And I think I said 1034, and I just went to 11. Wow, that's fast. Faster times 8 is pretty fast, guys. So yeah, he's not producing a single unit right there. So these 3 Marines, give me the last 4 a little bit. So right now, not producing anything. What is going on? Taeja does have a little bit about money, but it looks like he is focused on attacking. Go over to his camera. Go to the command center. So that's why. Stop building units just for a little bit to get an expansion up, but he still has a little bit of money. There we go, 2 Marines being produced. So looks like that little thing was explained by him, showing signs that he wants to get his next base up. Right here, maybe he's supply capped at 200 at 18 minutes. And that'll be the last one we check at 18 minutes, see exactly what's going on. Just again, do this to emphasize how important it is to look at your games via SE2 gears if you want to improve. How easy it is just to see when you make mistakes, when you're not playing perfect. And of course, you're going to have a lot of mistakes. It'd be really discouraging to look at SE2 gears. So during this time, he is now doing an intense battle. And that's why he's not building any units, just because... But look, so this may show something amazing about Sage. Taeja, he's not building any units. Sage, though, whooping in Zealots during all this. Where are those Zealot weapons at? Back here. So during this whole battle, Taeja doesn't bother hitting 4 and holding A. Sage, on the other hand, goes all the way to the pylon, whoops in 10 Zealots. That is pretty darn cool. Normally Protoss, they're kind of at a disadvantage with those whoop gates because they have to use their camera to actually whoop in units, so we'll see how he does this. And it's on normal speed, so it won't be going as fast. Realizing, okay, I've lost the battle, goes up here, there we go, in middle of the battle, gets that warp in. And that was pretty cool. And now, one last thing while we look at that. Look at his gateways. Were they idle? Yeah, they were idle before that. Okay. So, I was going to say, if he kept, like, in perfect sync and those gates like just came off their cooldown. That would have been some of the coolest Protoss thing I have seen in a long time. But no, but he still whooped it in the middle of the battle while Taeja did not. So that was pretty good. We'll look at Protoss weapons right now. So we'll do Zealot, or Stalker, or Templar, or Sentry. And it's a little bit hard to tell Protoss because their units take like a second to build. So looking roughly, it looks like his macro was pretty good. I think it is easy to go to Units Tiers tab. It changes granularity down to 20, and right here, probably had idle whoop gates in this area. This is an interesting thing. 1625. What the heck was going on here? Let's go back into this build's tech. Yeah, let's look at this. This is odd. So 16 minutes. Go back a minute. It's like a full 2 minutes without producing anything from the gateway. Actually, let's go back in SC2 gears. Let's add a few things. Or Colossus. So he's producing Colossus in that time, or Immortal. So he is producing Immortals and Colossus during this downtime. So let's go to 1730 actually. 18 minutes. See if his money gets high. If his money's high, then it's a mistake not using the whoop gates. Actually, he's near maxed out. So maybe that's why. Wow, went back a lot further than I wanted to. So at 18 minutes, Sage is maxed out. So maybe that 16-minute mark is him saying, okay, I want to get my heavy hitters in. I want to get Colossus in before I get maxed out. So that's why he's not building any units right there, because he wants to get those Colossus up. If he builds around a Whoop Gate units, then he can't get those Colossus up, which means his late-game army is much weaker than it could have been. So that's cool play. I mean, he can use the Gateway Weapon anytime. If Taeja goes to attack, he can use that instantly, max out, no problem. So not using the Whoop Gates right there is a good tactical decision. So, yeah, that'll be the cast. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Take care, and I will see you maybe later on today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know exactly. Peace out.